Congo in Africa. We've crossed the waters and then had a number of presentations about Congo in the New World. Now, unfortunately, in the meantime, we have been under a lot of water as well, which makes that, unfortunately, one of our speakers of this afternoon, Tsikama from Luanda, had to arrive around lunchtime, and we just have heard that his flight has been cancelled. So unfortunately, he's not going to be here before tomorrow, and we are just going to see if we can squeeze him into the program of tomorrow instead of this afternoon. The program of this afternoon is about Congo, how Congo nowadays is being discussed, is being articulated in literature, in the arts, how Congo has an importance or not in national educational policies, and so on. And we have two speakers. I'm going to invite the first speaker to come up, who is José Dianzungu, the Biniakunu, who is retired from the University of Brazzaville, and José is going to talk, give a talk with the title Teaching Congo, Regional Identities and National Educational Policies.
Thanks for that. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, I come from Congo, Kinshasa. There are two Congo. One is Brazzaville, from a French colony, and mine is Democratic Republic of Congo, from a Belgian colony. So we're going to talk about the Congo. In 3 countries, the former kingdom of the Congo was, in the past, in the very far past, a unity of Angola, Congo, my province in the DRC, and then Brazzaville, Congo, in one part of Congo, Brazzaville. So, the ancient kingdom of Congo was composed of former Angola, which is still there, but now is a republic that was a colony. Then the Belgian Congo and the French Congo. Now, with the arrival of colonization, as you well know, our culture, our arts, our languages were willingly discarded, sometimes destroyed, because they represent barbarism. And we need civilization. And civilization would only come from Europe at that time. So, we were thinking, we were hoping with the independence that things would be reestablished, that culture, arts, Congo culture, Congo art, Congo customs, Congo language would be restored. Unfortunately, that is not the case. In some areas, we can even say that our government all today are worse than the colonial government in some areas. For instance, Belgians allowed the Congo language to be taught. French didn't do it. Portuguese didn't do it. Kikongo is not taught, was not taught in Congo Brazzaville and in Angola, but in the Belgian Congo, it was taught. Today, it is on the curriculum of primary education, but it is not taught. at all. And we are making a big room to French. But because we have not many qualified teachers, we have no books published in Congo. The books that are used even in primary education have to come from Belgium, 54 years after independence. And we are favoring a francophonie. I once wrote it to the Minister of Culture. Why do we can speak French, we can use French because it is an international language, but I don't see why our countries have to promote French. And we spend a lot of money in promoting French. That should not be our job. We just take it and we use it. But it should not be our business to spread it all over. So I wrote a letter to the francophonie. You are saying that you're not contributing to killing our languages. Now I'm sending you a manuscript. Any Kongo is a primer to teach reading to our primary school students. They financed it because they needed a proof that they were saying the truth, that they are in favor of promoting both French and African languages. But in practice, we don't see it. So, I have to have my watch. So when I say we have to teach Kongo, what do I mean? I simply mean this, that we have to come back to our identity. We Angolans, Congolese of DRC and Congolese of Brazzaville, we have to rehabilitate our values, moral, philosophical, artistic, cultural, you name it. And the thing is that our constitution in Congo says that the national languages, there are four, Kongo, Lingala, Chiluba, and Swahili. They have to be promoted by the government. That is the first article of our constitution today. They have to be promoted. And there should be no discrimination among them. But that constitution has been adopted in 2005. It's now 9 years. We are nowhere yet. And unfortunately, we at the university, the elite of the Congo, we are the very first to be against our languages. The very first. There are not professors, universities, who write books in the Congo. I am the only one for the time being. And it's a terrible thing. I have written several books that are used in primary education. One of them in 3rd grade. Now, it was supposed to be sold so that the money would help to publish all the manuscripts that I have. The book is being used and very loved by both pupils and teachers. The other day, just last week, I went to the market I met a group of young children, aged 6 to 8. They were showing me the finger. I said, why are you looking at me like that? They said, when we are discussing, he is saying that the book we are using, you are the one who wrote it. And what do you think? Well, I don't think so. Why? Because blacks, Congolese he meant, but he said blacks don't publish books. All the books we use come from Belgium. So, and believe me, I'm almost rejected. And when I wrote this small book, which is it's a small essay that I wrote for ecological purposes. John has been in our area. He knows that we burn our savanna. Bushfire is a very important fact. We burn the grass everywhere, every year. So I wrote a book on that. I aimed it at peasants, those peasants who learned to read Kongo during the missionary time. And I went to the publisher to give him the manuscript. He said, no one will ever read a book in Kongo. Up to that time, he had published 13 books, all in French. I said, why don't you try with one in Kongo? He said, there will be no Bible. Finally, he published it. His wife is American, and she was responsible of that publishing house. 3 months later, after it had been published, I got a letter in which she said, José, you have to be proud because your small book is our best seller. Best seller. I said, well, people want to read if we teach them to read. And if we publish books that are relevant to their needs, their expectations, and so on. And this small book did it. It was sold after 1 month. There were not 10,000 copies were published. They were bought. So, yes, local languages are important in teaching Kongo. In any way, we're not going to teach Kongo to peasants in French or in English. So, but what are the obstacles of reteaching our culture, our language, our customs, our philosophical value, our religion, and many other values that we cherish? Well, the problem is that we, the elite, we are the obstacle. So there have been attempts to get professors from both Congo and Angola to meet, to work on a project. I was one of the central actors in that project. At that time I was in Brazzaville. The idea was to publish a dictionary. And now, The idea was accepted, but there was so much political opposition in Brazzaville that they said we have to postpone the beginning of the work, at least the open work. But up to this point, we have gotten nowhere. And yet, today, it's much easier to work together on such projects as writing textbooks that can be used both in Angola and the two Congos. We can use to publish newspapers, or at least newsletters. And because today, we don't need to work in an office all together. Angolans have to come to Kinshasa, Congolese to Brazzaville, or we have to go to Brazzaville. We can use now internet to write a book, and that will be very easy. Very, very easy. The problem is that our government would not fund such a project. In our country, they would have no reason, but they will not give the money because it is under Constitution, the promotion of national language.